So I'm doing an updated tier list for update 4 on dungeons, because last time I did it, it was at the beginning of the update before the GPO buff, or the GPO revert. So most of these fruits had a very annoying solo runs or were really hard to farm with. But after this recent change, a lot of them are now actually just, kind of back to where they were before, or with a little certain caveats. So I'm just going to update it because the other one was kind of misleading now anyway, because it's outdated. It's outdated. So I just kind of want to update the tier list. I don't want to make this too long, so I'll just kind of get into it. Suke, Bari. So you could do it. I don't think it's amazing or something, but you could do it. You can the only problem is staying in there and holding something. I don't know what you could hold, but I'd assume if you do an entire Bari stamina build or whatever, you can hold the shield on you and then kill them, but I don't know. Pretty sure it's alright, and I guess in teams it's okay. Bomb, best fruit for dungeons. Self-explanatory, one-shots bosses. You can solo with it decently easily. So yeah. Gum, probably B. You can do it. I don't think it's that difficult, but I still I see people thinking like, oh, it's a joke. It has to be an A or something. When like in reality, it's just it's good, but like there's a good chance you die if you mess up a little bit. And Karabachi catches you. I don't know if you have a lot of health, maybe not, but like I don't know. It's hovering around between here and here. I don't think it's bad. You can easily do it. It's better than this, I assume anyway. Because you can one-shot bosses with it, but you need it again with this flexibility. You kind of need a dungeon-specific build, which doesn't really hurt it, but you know what? It's less flexible than the others, and in terms of groups, it's nothing special. So I don't know. If you're pairing it with this, honestly, you're just better off pairing it with bomb. You're just better off getting something else. But if this is all you have is a rare, and you don't want to eat bomb or something, even though bomb is just better as a rare, I mean, just go ahead. I mean, it's not terrible. You can do it. Pretty good, I guess. Goro, probably us now. So the problem with Goro is that you'll be in the air holding. I think if you do Lightning Wrath, you might fall down. So you kind of want to do Dragon and then jump and then do Lightning Wrath. It's still pretty good, especially in a group. I still wouldn't consider it here just because of the blocking mechanic. It's a lot easier to mess up, but you have a lot of options to get out. It's still really good though. It's still probably better than a bunch of things on here. So it's probably yes. Definitely yes. Zushi, because of the new changes and stuff, it's better than it was last update. Significantly better. Below it was like right here or something. I don't know. Probably like around here. People kind of underrated it too back then, but new changes. You can argue because soloing with compared to these two, you have a single move, but you have flight, so you're kind of set. The biggest issue and hurdle with this fruit is just getting hit off your rock, and it's super easy to get hit off if you get hit by a rocket launcher. So I don't know. It could be a lot better if you couldn't get knocked off of it and you tanked it, but you know it's here. And also like killing bosses is kind of annoying with solo. If you're doing it with a group, there's not really an incentive to use this. So like, I don't know. I'll think about it later. But it's like hovering here. It's pretty good though. If you have it, you can get it for pretty cheap for a couple items, and then just kind of farm up with it. It's pretty alright if you don't have friends. Gura, so this has shock punch and then the blast clutcher. It's really between you being able to hold a blast clutcher and the ult, right? Because if you hold blast clutcher, you don't float, you fall down, I think. Or if you do fall, if you are in there, it doesn't. I know, I think you stay in the air, but the problem is that your move doesn't do anything in there, so you're forced to shock punch right after. You don't really have a lot of options or like choices to kill other than your ult, so I don't know. I feel like it's here. I feel like it's worse because also it doesn't have movement, so it's like worse overall than Goro. It's just a scuffed Goro. So I don't know. It could hover between here. I'll order it after, that's sure. But yeah, I don't know. This it's good. You can do it like in the same tier as this. This is probably better, but like I don't know. It could be worse. So with Hiei last video, people were like getting mad at me for placing it like C, D, because people were like, oh. Most of them were just complaining about like its placement, but not like giving me a reason, or like they were talking about not dungeons. So it was like, why are you even like watch that video? Or I don't know. Like I don't know. Look at the section where I mentioned here. What I don't. It's better because of the GPO changes, and you can hold the ice like the ice shot and then do a pheasant. So it's better than I thought it was, but I still don't think it's anything special because you're still not killing those bosses super easily with solos. And in group, why would you run this over like I don't know Gomu? I guess like literally, why would you run this over Gomu? Honestly, it's a much worse run. You can I can still argue with C. I don't think it's that good for it. It's not terrible, but like realistically, it's like hovering in this area. Like I don't know, I'll put it for you for now. But like after, I don't know, it's just not that insane or anything. It's like mediocre or bad, honestly. I don't know. Honestly, I've seen solo runs of these two. I feel like you're better off with this, because with this you're like forced to certain maps, or a single map really, and with this you're not. But I don't know. Kilo, I feel like you could do things with it, but the problem is that in the first couple rounds you can't solo with just specifically Kilo. You'd have to use an item and then Kilo Stomp, and then I don't know how you're supposed to take out the bosses. So like this isn't really like, it's awful. It's trash. It's better than Suke, I guess. I don't know. It's still terrible. So Magu, it's kind of like a Goro, but slightly better. I feel because you have access to a punch. You drop the punch, and then you do Hound. So you're just kind of chilling on in that regard. And you also have your ult that is like super nice for block breaking. Not even block breaking, but taking out a horde of mobs. It's basically around this level. They're practically identical. The only difference is I think you have a little bit more moves with this. You only have like 2 that you can do, and I guess bosses are slightly easier with one. I don't even know. They're practically identical in a group. I guess this one's better, honestly. Goro's a little better in a group compared to Magu. So Magu's still really good though in a group. But I don't know. They're practically identical. There's not really much of a difference between the two. So Mera, I explained last video, this, you can just float with Flight, and then he can, and then you basically win the round. You don't have to interact with the opponents, so they don't block, they don't have the blocking mechanic proc on them, so they just walk all up in a group towards you, and then you just can, and then taking out bosses solo is not that hard either. You just kind of fire out flies, he can, and then block, you're basically set. And you can also fly against Hiei and Mera users, so and you can also block all Mera's attacks, so you don't have an issue with that boss. Pika is the only one that can give you issues, like every other fruit, but like every other fruit, it's not that much more like difficult than anyone else. I don't know, it's obviously S+. Like this thing is stupid. Mero, I know it has like a similar like thing like with Hiei, but like I actually have zero clue how you're even supposed to like take out the. I guess you could do the boss if you have a lot into HP and double fruit, but like I think the double fruit scales badly as well, so I don't even know. If you want to put it in C, you can put it in C. I don't completely disagree with you, but like for this, there's no reason to ever eat this when you have gum or Bari, like honestly. Pika, I feel like this is between the two. Like, I'll make a Pika tier, honestly. Oops. I'll make a, I don't know. Pika's better than these, but because of the changes, the block mechanic, you're forced to throw out a move. But you can just hold the you can hold what's the move called? You can throw out a mirror kick, and then do light kick, or you can do the sword, light sword, and then throw out a mirror kick. Like there's so many options to get out of the block thing, and you're not limited by your GPO. Like I don't know, just put it in S+, honestly, because if soloing, you make certain maps a joke. Bosses aren't hard. You just kind of smack them around, unless it's a Pika boss. But even then, you can just kind of do the same things that they do. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like this is like just here. It has slight issues, but it's not like dumb or anything. Spin. I think it's terrible. I don't know what it would have, right? It wouldn't have anything. It's trash. Yeah, no. It has no big AoE. It doesn't have anything worth. No, honestly, I feel bad putting this here over this. But yeah, I don't know. They're pretty. These three are just, the commons are just can't farm dungeons like at all. They're all bad. Honestly, if they rework Kilo, it might be able to, but like other than like for right now, they're just bad. Even though this has a flight move or something, doesn't really matter. Suna's like just a worse version of Mera, and they're like nearly every way, but it still takes up bosses relatively similar or better. It really depends on how if you're able to link certain combos with it. But it's pretty good. If you have this, I honestly eat this for dungeons. It's good for everything honestly, but for dungeons specifically, just because of the flight move, you can storm and then go in the air. You can make build for it where you just hold stamina. If you miss a storm for some reason, just stay in the air and throw out another storm. Wait for the thing. Just put high stamina, high devil fruit, or decent devil fruit, decent health. You should be set. Like honestly, you can do a lot of things with this. It's very flexible, and paired with a bomb. Yeah, you kind of just auto win. It's just a scuffed Mera. It's like just as good at it though. With a lot of these pairings with stuff, bomb, it's basically the same thing, honestly. Tori, so because of the block changes, you don't have to hold really anything, and I think the biggest issue is soloing with this thing. And not the enemies, but the bosses. A lot of these are to counter to each other. These are worried about bosses. These are mainly worried about. These are mainly worried about enemies. These are mainly worried about bosses. You don't really have the best way to one-shot the boss, so you're kind of forced to invest in sword. I mean, you're at Tori, so you probably do already have sword mastery, but it's just a better Zushi, really, because it has the same issues as Zushi, but it's just better. It's not that good in a group. Solo, it smacks solo, but like it's not insanely like like you have burst, your damage is slow against bosses. You could the only good thing is that you can just kind of stay in the air and avoid every boss in the entire thing except for Pika. So Pika is really your only issue, and you can just kind of ult and then burst and chill. I don't know. It has the same issues as like all these fruits. I feel like solo it's barely better than these fruits, but in a group it's just significantly worse. In more situations, then it's going to be worse than these two. Then it's going to be good in situations you want it. But if you're just soloing, yeah, probably eat this over this. If you for some reason have this, so I'm going to order these and then be right back. So I think this is how I'm going to do it. Bomb being the best. You can solo with it. It takes up bosses. It wins you runs. It's dumb. Mera basically just because of the flight makes it the second best one in the entire game. Suna, because of the flight, makes it the third best in the entire game. Pika, you can slide it to S plus if you want. I'm gonna put it for S for the sake of this video because I don't think it's at these levels because of the block mechanic thing. But if you want to say it's over here, like you could do round 50s with solo with this thing super easily. So I mean, you choose whether you want it to be up here. I think these are the league of their own. That's the only reason I'm saying this, but it's still amazing. It's an S tier fruit. So yeah, you choose whether S plus or S. It's amazing. Goro in a group, but it's like in solos and other things because of the blocks, you're kind of forced into cooldowns, and it has high cooldowns, so it is really annoying. But against like bosses stuff, it's pretty easy to solo with. Magu, it's basically the same thing, just good against everything, not amazing because of the movement, same issues basically. Tori, low damage, flight makes it so you don't have to worry about the enemies blocking, so you just kind of like a lot of these are like you have to use your brain kind of to like hold your move, pay attention. This you just kind of do whatever you want, kill the enemies, and then pay attention when you have to fight the bosses. That's what a lot of these. This is why these are up here, and also they're faster, just because of the lack of blocking. So it's like a significantly worse version of this. Pre GPO nerf, this would have been up here just because GPOing is like so crucial to the thing. But because of the new changes, I mean, it's just kind of worse than these. So with Zushi, it would have been around Tori tier, but it's just the rockets is the big issue, and it has the same. It's kind of like the same thing, but this just has an easier time because it doesn't have to deal with paying attention to rocketers. You just kind of stay in the sky. This they have low damage. They're not very good against bosses, but soloing they're pretty nice. So with Gura, Its main thing is that it has shock punch, and then the ult. Blast Clutcher's okay, but you need to be grounded. If it was aerial and it aimed downwards completely below you, it'd probably be it'd be up here-ish, like, but it's not, so it can't do that. It's really that's really unfortunate. But with just shock punch, you're kind of just set holding any other moves that you have, and just shock punching the enemies. Also with bosses, it's like it kind of makes them a joke. You can kind of ult the bosses, you can ult the enemies. It doesn't really matter. If you're in a sticky situation, just ult the enemies. If you really need to kill a boss, just ult bosses. It's just good all around. Gomu. So if you've seen solo methods of this thing, it's good. It's just slightly unsafe, I feel. I don't know, but it's still pretty good. You don't have to don't worry about bosses or anything. I don't know. You're kind of set. Bari. It's gonna be it's here in its own. I feel like everything above here, you're good with soloing with it. I think the problem with Bari is it's not even the boss. It is kind of the bosses, but mainly the enemies, because you have a couple moves to hold. You're gonna do a lot to make this thing work. You're gonna have to be grounded and stuff. It's a lot more effort than like anything up here. It's okay. If you have Bari, you have to kind of build a build for it, but you're fine. For Hiei, I feel like I don't know. It's just not insane. You have a move to hold. You have a single pheasant. If you miss the pheasant, the luck staying in the air for longer because you really don't have that many moves. Stomp, I think you have to be grounded to use it. And also bosses are just kind of like annoying. It's like a worst case of Sushi. It has every problem that Sushi has, but it can't take care of enemies like insanely safely, which is the main thing that is valued in dungeons. Mero's just a scuffed version of Hiei. It's like, I think maybe it takes care of enemies, not enemies. It takes care of it takes care of bosses better, but I don't know. I guess put this above it. I mean, they're both bad. I wouldn't recommend anything down C below dungeons, but they're usable. In groups, they're trash. Like everything here is trash. I feel like this has potential above B, but like these don't. There's just kind of hard stuff down here. These three commons, they're trash. I don't know what to say. They're trash. They can't do anything. So that's the tier list. I know it's just kind of what I did before, but I had to, change some stuff because of the GPO change, being a significant change with a lot of these things. Bomb solo method is significantly easier now than it was before. A bunch of other stuff is a lot easier. Things like this everything in this tier would have probably been A, or everything right here would have been A. Then everything would have been lower just because of these annoying changes. But because of the GPO change, it makes it a lot easier. You only have to deal with one different mechanic instead of two. That really hindered things like this. And also people finding new tech and holding and unholding certain moves so you can make the enemy stop blocking. So yeah, thank you for watching, and if you have any opinions to share with me, so in case there's like some tech that I'm unaware of, a lot of these fruits from the placements, I'll leave it in the comments. And any suggestions for videos, because I'm running out. I don't know what to do, really. I mean, I'm thinking of doing a PvE tier list, because I'm playing for 2 months just straight PvE. I mean, it's kind of relatively the same as these, but some things are a little higher, But yeah, I don't know. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.